Okay, here we go through the first 12 genres. Biography, that would be writing about somebody else's life. Pretty recently, somebody wrote a nice book about Steve Jobs. I can't remember who, so we'll just put by so-and-so. Actually, I'm not going to put the author on most of these. Autobiography, notice how it differs from memoir. Autobiography, you write about your own life from birth until now, comprehensive. Memoir, you write about a portion of your life, probably because it was unique or specific. You were in a war, or the Holocaust, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg writing about her time on the Supreme Court. Autobiography, we just had Michelle Obama publish her autobiography. It's called Becoming by Michelle Obama. For those of you just skipping ahead, I will put the author of that one. All of the other sophomores are going to read a book called Night. It's by Elie Wiesel. And it's a Holocaust memoir. It's really, really darkly tragic, amazing book. I wanted to do something more lighthearted this year, so I'm doing Scarlet Pimpernel, but Night is a perfect example of a memoir. He lived a year and a half in the concentration camps and wrote about it. Now, if a teenager faces issues, normal teen issues, drugs, family, sex, bullying, depression, eating disorders, etc., they call it a problem novel, although I have seen it as now a teen issue novel, which is a little more positive than problem novel. A good example would be the book called Speak. It's a really well-done book about a rape, and then she doesn't talk until she saves somebody else. And it's really, really well done. School story, it can have teen problem issues because they probably go to school, but the big idea is that they're in a school setting. Actually, the only one I can think of right now is also a teen issue book. The book that's called The Hate U Give. You've got somebody who's forced to go to a preppy white school outside of her own demographic, and the issues there, police brutality, racism. All right, historical fiction. It takes place in the real world with real world people but has fictional elements. An alternate history, hey, what if the Russians had taken over the world? What if? There's a book called Leviathan that I really like. It's an alternate World War I, but it's very, very different. In Leviathan, all the Axis powers are steampunk engines, and all of the Allied powers are biopunk animal creations formed into weapons, and the two are pitted against each other. Very cleverly plotted alternate history. Now, a period piece, or this is what we think of when we think of historical fiction, because it's true history. The places, the people, the reality are used as the backdrop, and very carefully researched so that it's correct to the time period. We're going to be reading The Scarlet Pimpernel, which counts big time because it's all about the French Revolution. Although our characters are going to be fictional. They will interact with some real people. The king, head of the French security, that kind of thing. Notice that these two eras are so popular that they have their own subgenres. It's really popular to write what are called Regency novels set in 1820s England, which are Jane Austen-esque, Pride and Prejudice style, because it's fun. They're usually romances, very clever, very witty, and all the oddities of that culture. And then Jidaigekis are set in samurai culture, Japan. Very popular to have that kind of history going on. Action adventure, superhero, military, spy fiction, martial arts. Oh, you know what I love? I love that new, relatively new series, all the Alex Rider books, and then they did a nice little Amazon series, starting it off. It's looking really nice. Ramazan Odd, new beginning in a new place. They focus on survival, building a colony. Lord of the Flies actually counts just fine. The book Hatchet. But see, it doesn't have to be on Earth. It could be people colonizing Mars, for example. Thrillers, fear and excitement with a dark or serious theme. Disaster, psychological, or techno thrillers. Disaster thrillers, super popular, especially in the 70s. All these movies about natural disasters and whatnot. I just Googled it online really quickly, and I came up with a book called Fallout. I've never read it, but there you go. It's nuclear holocaust fallout. Disaster, we survive, and it's a thriller. Psychological thriller, when I looked that one up, one of the ones that popped up, I haven't read this one, but Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I'm assuming, it's all this thrilling adventure stuff. I know, very active violence kind of stuff. She's a hacker, but it's got to concentrate on her emotional state. There's weird mind-bending, mind-trippy games going on. When I looked that one up, there was another book next to it that said, The Wife Between Us. And I thought, oh my gosh, here you have a couple, and you've got the psychological thriller with some mysterious wife between us. What? Love triangle? Weird. Psycho. Techno thriller, the danger lurks in and amongst technology. Whether it takes over the world, it's a threat, whether you're trapped inside of it. I thought of Ready Player One, which is kind of fun, or like movies, we've got The Matrix and Tron, where you get trapped inside and have to escape. I wonder if Inception, sci-fi, but I would put that as kind of a psychological thriller as well. Deteriorating mental state kind of things affect it. Okay, so your instructions now say, of all the boxes you have left, please pick 5. Okay, up to you. Cross out the 3 you don't want, maybe, so you don't have to do all the research, but you get to know more about the ones that are of interest to you. You might, if you've never read fantasy, hate the stuff, you might want to learn more about that just to, up your knowledge of the genre, but you don't have to. Anyway, pick 5, take pictures, turn it in. It'll be awesome. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.